Hey everyone, Les Harger here from ComfortableShoeStudio.com, and I'm going to do a few more techniques in my beginner's journal, showing you a few more things. And here we go. Put it on this side. So this is my little moleskin that I've been using for these technique videos. And in a couple of my other videos, I did some techniques with watercolor crayons, and I've got a bunch here in this little container. And I'm going to add some watercolor crayons to some pages. Watercolor crayons are a great little tool for adding a lot of color. There are lots of ways you can use these. You can use them just as like a regular crayon. Just put the color on the page like you're coloring with a crayon. And then you can spritz it. Let's see what do. So that's one thing that you can do with watercolor crayons. You can also use watercolor crayons on a damp or wet page, and it gives you an entirely different look. The crayon kind of moves around the page in a different way. You can get some very heavy layers of color, and you can mix colors. And a couple of different colors going onto this page. You can see that some of the page is still wet, some of it's dry. I'm going to add a little more water here. And I'm just spraying it down with a little mister. So that's a couple of different things you can do with the watercolor crayons. And I'm just going to fold it right over onto itself over there. Let's see, something else you can do is you can lay some color on your page. Again, you can mix colors on a page, and a couple of different colors there. Trying to keep it earthy. And then you can grab some gesso and you can spritz it with some water to get it a little moist. And then brush some gesso over it. And the gesso will pick up the color and blend it. So right now, really what I'm doing in this little journal is giving myself a bunch of backgrounds to work on. I enjoy working on colored backgrounds as much as I do white or cream colored. And with this, I'm really just attacking the page and blending the colors and letting things move. I'm not getting worried about what the results are or whether it looks perfect or not. I'm just letting the colors mix together in an organic kind of way. I'm using a crappy 99-cent bristle brush and a little pot of gesso. I'm going to put some wax paper between my pages. And just keep turning the page. You can also use the gesso without wetting it, or with the watercolor crayons and the gesso without wetting it. With this one, I'm doing a little outline here around the edges. I'm not going to fill the whole thing. I'm putting on a pretty heavy, I'm using plenty of pressure on my watercolor crayon. And I'm just going to come into this with some gesso. And I haven't cleaned my brush. And you can see I'm scrubbing it into the page. Getting a nice even coat of gesso and letting it lift the color. And you'll see that I'm working on some of the pages that I prepped in my last video. Now these are pages that I added tape to in the last video. Again, I'm going to put wax paper between these pages. Now I could speed up the dry time of my pages with a hair dryer. I found some personal ephemera. This was on a box at work. I thought it was kind of cool, so I grabbed it. I'm going to grab a red watercolor crayon, and I'm going to scribble on this page. Okay, is that red? That's not red. That is. That's alizarin crimson. I'm going to put a pretty heavy layer. Overlapping things. You can see the texture from the page underneath is coming up. And I'm just going to use some water. And again, I haven't cleaned my brush. So there's still gesso in this brush. And you can see it mixing. And let's see, I do have a rag right here. Then you can take a rag and you can wipe some of the color off. And get the rag wet if you want, and lift some of the color. Another piece of wax paper, and turn the page. So, let's see, I haven't used any bright blues yet, so I think I'm going to go with a bright blue, greenish blue. Put a really heavy layer right down the middle. And I think I'm going to do some gesso this time. A little water so it mixes better. And the bubbles will come out of it as it dries. So don't really worry too much about the bubbles. Just let them happen. As Bob Ross would say, they're a happy little accident. Alright, so there are a couple of ideas you can do with watercolor crayons. Let's see. I don't know how long I've gone. I haven't been paying attention. I could layer some watercolor crayon over that page. Let's try that. Let's do something opposite. We'll use an orange color. I'm putting that nice bright orange. Nice heavy layer. I'm going to use a clean brush this time. A brush, this is called a mop. I don't know if you can see that. It means it holds a lot of water and is great for moving color.